Visual. The video opens with serene imagery of a Shaolin temple nestled amidst misty mountains. The camera focuses on a Shaolin master, his face serene yet wise, in a meditative posture. This transitions to the host, in a calm and grounded setting, possibly with minimalist Eastern-inspired decor. Host. In the relentless current of modern life, our minds often become battlegrounds for a constant barrage of thoughts. Among these, the negative ones, the doubts, the worries, the self-criticisms, can feel like relentless adversaries, clouding our clarity, draining our energy, and holding us captive in cycles of fear and anxiety. Welcome to Elevate Mindset. Today, we are drawing wisdom from an ancient tradition and exploring a powerful approach to dealing with these mental adversaries. We'll delve into the profound insights of a Shaolin master, teachings rooted in centuries of cultivating inner peace and mental discipline. We'll connect these timeless principles to our present-day struggles and ultimately learn how to harness this wisdom to shape a more positive and empowered future self. This isn't about suppressing or denying our negative thoughts. It's about understanding their nature, learning to observe them without judgment, and ultimately transmuting their power into a source of strength and growth. Join us on this journey to cultivate inner resilience and take control of the narrative within your mind. Visual. Animated graphics illustrating the mind as a busy, chattering monkey, jumping from one thought to another, often irrationally. This contrasts with images of a still, clear mountain lake. Host. The Shaolin tradition, with its deep understanding of the human psyche, often refers to the untrained mind as a monkey mind. Just like a restless monkey swinging from branch to branch, our thoughts can be erratic, unpredictable, and often focused on negativity. They leap from worry to regret, from self-doubt to fear of the unknown, creating a constant state of mental agitation. This incessant mental chatter, especially when dominated by negative thoughts, can have a profound impact on our well-being. It can lead to stress, anxiety, decreased focus, and a diminished sense of self-worth. We become entangled in the stories our minds create, often mistaking these fleeting thoughts for reality itself. The first step in dealing with negative thoughts is to recognize their nature. They are not necessarily facts. They are simply mental events, arising and passing away like clouds in the sky. Just as we wouldn't try to grab and hold onto every passing cloud, we don't need to latch onto and identify with every negative thought that enters our minds. Visual. Scenes of Shaolin monks practicing mindfulness and meditation, observing their breath with focused attention. The host explains a concept with a calm and guiding voice. Host. A core principle in Shaolin practice is a cultivation of mindful awareness, the ability to observe our inner and outer world without judgment. This is crucial in dealing with negative thoughts. Instead of immediately reacting to a negative thought with fear, anger, or self-criticism, the Shaolin approach encourages us to simply observe it. Imagine a negative thought arising in your mind. Instead of getting swept away by its content, try to step back and observe it as if it were an external event. Notice its intensity, its emotional tone, and the physical sensations it might trigger in your body. Acknowledge its presence without labeling it as good or bad, true or false. This act of non-judgmental observation creates a space between you and your thoughts. It allows you to recognize that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that is observing them. This separation is the first step towards breaking the power that negative thoughts hold over you. The Shaolin monks trained for years to cultivate this unwavering focus and non-reactive observation through practices like breath awareness meditation. By consistently returning your attention to a neutral anchor, like your breath, you train your mind to become less reactive to the constant stream of thoughts, including the negative ones. Visual. Time-lapse footage of clouds moving across the sky, or waves crashing on a shore and receding. The host connects these natural phenomena to the transient nature of the host. Another key insight from the Shaolin tradition that helps in dealing with negative thoughts is the understanding of impermanence. Just as all physical phenomena are constantly changing, so too are our thoughts. Every thought, no matter how intense or persistent it may seem, will eventually pass. When a negative thought arises, it can feel overwhelming and permanent, like a dark cloud that will never disappear. However, by observing it without judgment, you begin to notice its transient nature. It might intensify for a moment, But then, if you don't cling to it and feed it with your attention, it will inevitably begin to fade away, making space for new thoughts and sensations. Remember the analogy of the sky and the clouds. The sky remains vast and clear, regardless of the types of clouds that pass through it. Similarly, your awareness remains constant, even as negative thoughts drift through your mind. By recognizing the impermanence of thoughts, you can learn not to give them undue power or believe that they represent a fixed reality. You can learn to let them pass, knowing that they are temporary visitors in the landscape of your mind. Visual imagery of a blacksmith forging metal, transforming raw, potentially chaotic energy into a useful and strong form. This connects to the idea of transforming negative mental energy. Host. While observation is crucial, the Shaolin tradition also emphasizes the potential for transforming negative energy. Instead of simply suppressing or ignoring negative thoughts, we can learn to understand their underlying message and redirect their energy in a more constructive way. Often, negative thoughts are signals. Fear might indicate a perceived threat that needs to be assessed. Anger might point to a boundary that has been crossed. Self-criticism might highlight an area where you feel you need to improve. The key is to listen to these signals without getting overwhelmed by the negative emotion attached to them. Think of negative thoughts as raw, untamed energy. Like a skilled blacksmith, you can learn to take this raw energy and, through mindful awareness and conscious effort, shape it into something useful and strong. For example, instead of dwelling on self-criticism, you can acknowledge the underlying desire for improvement and channel that energy into taking positive steps towards your goals. Instead of succumbing to fear, you can analyze a perceived threat and develop a plan to address it. This process of transmutation involves acknowledging the feeling, understanding the message, and then consciously choosing a more positive and constructive response. It's about becoming an alchemist of your own mind, turning lead into gold. Visual imagery of someone visualizing their future self with confidence and joy, engaging in activities they are passionate about. The hosts connect the practice of dealing with negative thoughts to creating a positive future. Host. The way we deal with our negative thoughts in the present has a direct impact on the future self we are creating. If we constantly allow negativity to dominate our minds, we are essentially programming ourselves for a future filled with worry, doubt, and limitation. However, by learning to observe, understand, and transmute our negative thoughts, we actively cultivate a more positive and resilient inner landscape. This shift in our internal state directly influences the reality we experience and the future we step into. Imagine your future self as the embodiment of the mental habits you cultivate today. If you consistently practice mindfulness and choose positive self-talk, your future self will be more confident, focused, and at peace. If you learn to face challenges with resilience and view setbacks as opportunities for growth, your future self will be more adaptable and successful. The Shaolin principles remind us that inner discipline is a foundation for outer mastery. By taking control of your thoughts in the present, you are actively shaping a future self that is empowered, joyful, and capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and wisdom. This is not about wishful thinking. It's about conscious creation through mindful awareness and intentional thought cultivation. Visual. The video returns to the serene imagery of the Shaolin temple at dawn, symbolizing a new beginning and inner peace. The host offers final words of encouragement. Host. Dealing with negative thoughts is an ongoing practice, not a destination. There will be days when the monkey mind feels particularly active, and negative thoughts may seem persistent. Be patient with yourself, and remember the principles we've discussed today. Observe without judgment, acknowledge the impermanence of thoughts, and strive to understand and transmute their underlying energy. By integrating these ancient Shaolin principles into your daily life, you can gradually cultivate a greater sense of inner peace, resilience, and control over your mental landscape. You can learn to navigate the inevitable storms of the mind with greater calm and clarity, knowing that you have the inner tools to weather any negativity. The path to a truly elevated mindset is paved with mindful awareness and the courage to face our inner challenges with wisdom and compassion. Embrace the journey, practice consistently, and discover profound peace and empowerment that comes from taking control of your thoughts and shaping your future self.